Hi everyone, and welcome back to another monthly market update with me, Ben Robitaille, your realtor with Royal LePage in Touch Realty in Midland, Ontario. I serve all of Simcoe County. And today we're going to go over what has happened in the market last month in Simcoe County, parts of Southern Muskoka as well, and see what we can pull out as general trends when we zoom out and look at the big picture. So without any further ado, let's dive right in. We're going to start with Midland, Ontario. So the average sale price in Midland dropped last month from $603 in August down to $536 in September. Now, number of sales is also decreasing all over the place. So we went from 36 down to 14 in September. Normal slowdown for this type of year. As kids go back to school, we start getting back into routines, that kind of thing. It is normal to see a little bit of a drop off, but this is pretty drastic. New listings is up, which is meaning kind of bad news for sellers because there's more inventory, a little bit less demand. So prices, I think we're going to see come down over the next coming months. So we had 52 in August, 63 in September. Days on market has gone down surprisingly from 28 days to 22 days for September. And finally, if we look at percentage of original list price on average, we've actually dipped below 95%. So we were 95.6 in August down to 94.7 in September. And what this means is, let's say you listed your house for $1 million on average in Midland for September, it would have sold for $940,000 or $947,000, which is over $50,000 on $1 million home. A little bit scarier if you're a seller and you're used to the market we've had for the last 2 years. Moving along now to Penetanguishene. So we look at the average sale price also down here from $650 in August down to $570 in September. Small sample size, so even though prices are down, it really depends on what homes are selling that month in these neighborhoods. If we look at sales, also down from 14 to 12. Days on market also down here from 35 to 16 days. Number of new listings down here slightly from 27 to 24. And finally, if we look at percentage of list price, stayed pretty consistent from 97.0 down to 96.7. I personally like to see it between 95 and 100. To me, that means houses are being priced pretty appropriately right out the gate. If we start dipping below that 95 mark, that's when we see a lot of houses that have sat for a while, that have probably been overpriced to start with, and are just not moving. Next, let's look at Tiny. So the average price in Tiny here shot up from $894 in August up to $1.175 in September. Now, a large part of the reason for this is waterfront in Tiny. There is a lot of waterfront, and if you just happen to have more waterfront selling that month, you're going to see these spikes like you can see all over the place throughout the last few years, where the average price is going to go up. So for Tiny, really take this with a grain of salt. If we look at the number of sales, it's actually way down. So we went from 22 to 6 in September. And actually, just for fun, if we go to waterfront sales, we had 2, and the average sale price was $2.5 million. So really puts things in perspective there. If we look at the days on market in Tiny, skyrocketed. Went from 27 days in August to 60 days on average. So 2 months to sell your home in Tiny. Number of new listings here decreased slightly, but not much, from 66 to 61 in September. And what I'm finding in Tiny is ever since the Airbnb restrictions came into effect almost a year ago now, last November, there are a lot of old Airbnbs for sale in which those licenses can't transfer. So, the income they're making isn't necessarily covering the expenses that they have anymore. And some people are really starting to crunch down and get rid of these investment properties, which I think in the next couple months could mean an opportunity for buyers who are looking either for a vacation home for themselves, or maybe a long-term rental property, because to get into the short-term rental market in Tiny right now is next to impossible. Last, let's look at the percentage of original list price way down here as well, from 94.3% in August down to 89.2% in September. So if you're thinking of selling, you really got to get your expectations in check here early, because if you're priced well, you will sell quick. Let's move along now to Tay Township. So the average sale price here down a little bit from $719 in August to $688 in September. Number of sales here also down from 18 to 15, pretty insignificant. Days on market on average, we were 60 in August. We actually dropped to 30 in September, which is quite surprising. If we look at the number of new listings, up here as well from 37 to 47 in September. And finally, looking at the percentage of original list price, actually in a really nice spot for Tay. So 94.7% in August. We went to 99.3% for September, and that's priced well out there. So good job, realtors in Tay. Next, let's look at Springwater. So the average price shot up here as well, going from 952,000 in August to 1.06 in September. Number of sales way down here. We had 25 sales in August. We're down to 11. It's less than half in September. Days on market way up here, 23 days up to 47. Actually, pretty much on par with July. Then if we go to new listings for Springwater, we're down slightly from 74 to 67. And last, looking at percentage of original list price, way down here as well, from 97.8% in August down to 90.7% in September. Quite low. Next, let's take a look at Severn. So Severn saw a slight decrease as well, going from 833 in August to 806 in September. The number of new listings here did increase, going from 55 to 61, so slight increase for September. Sales here way down as well, from 30 down to 11. That's 66% decrease, or maybe not. I have a calculator with me at all times. Days on market down here slightly from 44 to 38. And then if we look at percentage of original list price, actually back into the spot where I like it here. So we're 93.8% in August. We're back up to 95.7%. So kind of in that sweet spot for me for Severn. So let's look at Aurelia. So the average sale price in Aurelia stayed the same at $695 across both August and September. The number of new listings here decreased by 1. So we had 77 new listings in August, 76 in September. Sales here went up slightly from 37 to 42. Days on market did increase pretty significantly from 28 to 38 days. And last, looking at percentage of original list price, we actually dropped here from 98.2% to 95%. So still just hanging on to that 95 to 100 I like to see in Aurelia. Moving down to Barrie. So the average sale price in Barrie actually increased, going from $720,000 in August to $752,000 in September. The number of sales here decreased slightly from 136 to 124. Time it takes to sell your home in Barrie, small decrease from 25 to 21 days. The number of new listings increased slightly from 303 to 326. So keep that in mind too. 326 new listings, a little over 100 sales. So a third of the houses are selling that are hitting the market in Barrie right now. And percentage of original list price staying pretty consistent, 97.8% in August, 98% in September. Cruising right along to Oro-Medonte, so decrease in the average sale price here. We went from 1.112 in August to 1.018 in September. Number of sales here up slightly from 20 to 21. The amount of time it takes to sell your home stayed consistent at 26 days for Oro. Number of new listings shot up from 64 to 82. So keep that in mind here as well. A quarter of the houses, so 82 new listings, 20 some odd sales are selling in Oro. And finally, average percentage of original list price, 94.7 in August, and just crept up to 95% in September. Looking now at Wasaga Beach, so a slight increase here as well in the average sale price, $678 in August to $688 in September. With a exact same number of sales too, 52 across both months. Days on market actually saw a decrease here from 56 days in August to 45 days in September. If we look at the number of new listings, 129, 128 in September. Still here, we're just under a third of new listings are selling. And percentage of original list price went from 94.9% to 95.3% for September. So we'll take a look at Collingwood. Oh, help if I could spell it correctly. There we go. If we look at average sale price, big decrease here, going from $884 in August down to $812 for September. The number of sales, slight increase, 38 days in August up to 43. Sales in, not days, sales in September. Days on market, on average, we went down slightly from 58 days in August to 53 days in September. New listings are shooting way up here. So we had 101 new listings in August, up to 152 new listings in September. And finally, percentage of original list prices dipped below that 95 mark. We went from 95.9 August to 94.5 for September. And last, as always, we're going to zoom out and take a look at Simcoe County as a whole. Because numbers in some of these communities are so small, it's really important to come out and take a look at the bigger picture to see if we can extrapolate some larger trends. Now, this will vary market to market. This just gives us an idea of what's going on out there, so we can try and make a more accurate prediction of what is going to happen in the future. So the average sale price actually saw an increase across Simcoe County from $770 in August to $776. I think we're going to continue to see this number go down as we head into the new year. Just my prediction. I'm happy to be wrong if you're thinking of selling out there. Number of sales, fairly big drop off. We had 511 in August to down to 438 for September. Days on market, I actually thought this was going to go up, but we're actually down slightly. It's pretty insignificant, from 36 days to 34 days for September. New listings, normally these increases happen in springtime. I think this is a little blip on the radar. I don't think we're going to get a ton of new listings unless people really have to sell before the end of the year, but I think come 2024, we're going to see this number jump quite drastically. So we had 1,200 new listings in August, 1,347 new listings for September. And last, percentage of original list price, we're still above 95, which I love as a whole. 96.1 for August, 95.8 for September. So that's been your monthly market update for October. If you have specific questions about the market you're in, more than happy to chat. You can book a meeting with me right into my calendar and in the link I'll provide below. If you're thinking about making a move, there's always opportunities, whether you're thinking of upsizing, downsizing in every market. There's never any pressure to do anything with me. If you want to chat and want to see what options are best for you, I'm always happy to make some time. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you want to see more like this, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.